Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60andMe. Welcome to a brand new day of your life. I hope that you're doing great. I'm so happy that you're here with me. I've got a topic today that I wanted to chat with you about, which is something that I deal with every day, which is just being grateful and not taking things for granted. It's so easy to lose your temper when something doesn't arrive on time, or when you make a mistake and order the wrong thing, or whatever, can go wrong in your life. You get really down on yourself, and you just don't realize and appreciate all the good things that happened that day. You focus on the one thing that didn't, and it's so easy to do that. And that applies not just to things, but also to relationships. And what I want to talk to you today about is the different languages that people use to express their love. So you may think that your partner or your friends or your co-workers are just not showing you the love that you want. I mean, love in the broad sense, right? In the sense that, from just appreciation to admiring to really caring about. But they do it differently. And I want to talk to you about the different languages that people use to express their love and their affection for you. And maybe that will help you to not take it for granted, to sort of not take for granted the fact that someone shows expression of love in one way and you think, oh, that was no big deal, but it's their way. It's how they express love. And some people are real huggers, for example. I'm a hugger. I love to hug. And, it's like, that's one of the ways I show my love. I even put hugs on emails, and, I'm a touchy person. Of course, we're not all able to do that anymore, so we have to find other ways to express ourselves. But I think it's really easy to be critical, and I just want to talk a bit about how to turn that around and to be more grateful and not take things so much for granted, because people are showing their love in different ways. There are 5 different ways. Becky Cohen-Vargas wrote this article. She's a great blogger of ours. Becky's been with us for many years, and I want to send out my love to Becky and just tell her appreciation for all she's done. She's had some challenges with her health recently, and she wrote this great article, though, and it came from her heart, because I think when you're feeling a little bit vulnerable, maybe many of you out there are, you actually are sensitized to how other people express their love to you. But according to her, there's 5 ways. Verbal affirmations, I love you. That works. Touch, hugging. Quality time, giving gifts. That's another way to show your love, and to acts of service, to volunteer, to give something back. So those are the 5 ways that Becky talks about in her article, which I would advise you to read, because it's a fun article. It's very, very touching. And, those are the 5 ways that people express their love. So when you think about someone and you think, well, they're just not being very kind to me, or they're not showing their love for me, have they done some of those things that maybe were not verbal? Verbal is the easy one. If someone says, I love you so much, that's like, great. And you can appreciate that, and you can really enjoy it. That's a definite affirmation. But they touch you. But if they just show up one day and say, hey, let's have a coffee, or I bring you a little gift, you may just say they're just popping in to visit. But for them, quality time is their way of showing love. No, they're not going to say, I love you. Maybe that's not the level of your relationship, or even if it is, they just feel like giving you their time is how they express their love. Acts of service, like if someone just says, let me pick up some stuff at the shop for you. Is there I'm down in the shop, can I buy anything for you? Now that, you might think, oh, well, that's nice of them. Take it for granted. But they meant that's love. They love you. They care about you, and they want to know if they can help you. And of course, gifts. I know with me, I always give little gifts, and I actually don't ever expect to get anything back. But when someone does give me a gift, it's just so sweet. I mean, even if it's something that's small, or even a card, or even just an email, which I guess is words, it means a lot. And I don't take it for granted, but do you? So talk about verbal affirmations, for example, for a start. I mean, I'm a verbal person, and so is Becky. And so she's like, it's really easy to say, I love you. And I often end my videos by saying, I love you guys so much. And I do. I mean that from my heart, because my 60andMe community is my world. And I don't know if you know about our Patreon group. It's our sort of smaller group, patreon.com. 60andMe, Patreon. And all the time I say that I love people and love Margaret, and I mean it, because it's, for me, a verbal expression. It's a solid comment. It's my way of saying it. Quality time, well, that's of course harder if you're busy, or if you live further away from someone. You can't knock on the door anymore. This, you know, with our current pandemic situation, we're all kind of in our homes, but it doesn't matter. It can be a verbal or a quality time phone call, or a quality time participation in a Zoom meeting, or getting a group together, you know, and we've talked about this in a couple of previous videos. But quality time is, you know, an opportunity with your adult children to just say, let's have a coffee. Let's just do it virtually if we cannot meet in person, or in a group of 6, or whatever the rules are where you are at the moment. But I think we need to find ways to bring that back, because I think just quality time, it may not be the big, you know, huggy, kissy, lovey time. It's just spending time together. You know, watching a movie. You know, even if it's something like with one of my sons, we actually live far apart. So we actually often will watch a movie and then give each other a call and talk about it. You know, we'll sort of share that. And to me, that's sharing quality time. It doesn't have to be sitting next, you know, with a glass of wine or right next to the person. Just giving of your time. And even if it's with your children, helping perhaps with the grandkids, if you're allowed to do that. Giving gifts, well, as I said, some people may not be good at giving verbal. They may just not be ready to say it, or they may not, it's just not their way. But giving gifts may be their way. And may not just be, you know, jewelry or something expensive. It could just be a rock they found and they painted, or something that's just meaningful to them, some little treasure that they made or that they created and wanted to share with you. And I think that that's really important. Gifts don't have to have a financial value to them at all. I think it's just being, you know, not taking that for granted. When someone gives you something like that, it's like, oh, that's nice, a rock. But if they painted it and they gave it to you and not to someone else, that to me is like a really huge thing. Maybe I'm making a big deal out of rock painting, because I actually do paint rocks. And I love giving them, because I just think they're so private and personal. I also make those little necklaces. Some of you have seen those little cabochons. And again, I give those out, and they are, you know, they're just of me. So I think that's how I show my love too. Physical touch, of course, we talked about the hugs. Can't be without them. And some people are just more huggy than others. And so for some people, that is it. That is how they show their love. They just want to hug you or touch you. And those are the ones now that maybe if they're not able to do that, you can give them some suggestions. Like, I know this is not easy for you. We can't get together and give each other personal hugs. Maybe you could send me, you know, a card, or you could, you know, draw something, or you could just sing me a song, record it. Just something that makes me tingle, makes my skin, you know. And one day they're going to invent something where we can do, you know, what do you call it? Like, what do they call it when you can do it? It's touching across the computer. There's a word for it. It escapes me. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We're not there yet. We have to just send picture hugs and do the best we can. Acts of service I've talked about. I think it's such an important thing we can do. Just to be generous and kind. And we don't have to do the big things I mentioned. You know, we don't have to, you know, donate huge amounts of money or whatever. But if you've got that option, that's a great one. I just did a really wonderful donation. I don't do donations too much online, but I did have one that came from Bali, which is one of my heart places. I just love Bali. We had to cancel our 60andMe women's group that was going to go to Bali this month. And we had to cancel it until next year. And hopefully, fingers, toes crossed, we'll get to go. But yeah, it was hard to do that. But anyway, Bali, someone sent me a note saying that the villages, of course, are really struggling because there's no tourists. So what they're doing is they did a fundraiser to get money to buy rice, food. And what they're asking the villagers to do is gather plastic. Bali has a huge problem with plastic that tourists have left. And they said, you know, gather the plastic, bring it to a central place, and we'll give you rice in return. And I love that they did that rather than saying, just come and get the rice. Everybody cares about you. But it was like, you do something and then you get the rice, and it's it's just a fair exchange. And so I gave some money to that because I thought that was really lovely. Number one, it supported Bali. It supported the villagers who are so affected by the tourism crash. And also just was a good cause. But that's an act of, I mean, that showed my love for them. I didn't send them any notes, any gifts. I just sent them some support, and that was my act of love. So maybe you can think of something like that you would do. But I think the point that Becky makes in her article is that these 5 languages of love often go unnoticed. We don't notice them. People do them and they put their heart into them and they mean it to be an expression of love. But we don't see it like that. We don't see it as a, you know, we just see it as a little thing like, oh, well. And not that you always take it for granted, but sometimes we do. So I hope that you found this an inspiring conversation. I want you to feel like it's you know, not always clear what people are doing to express their love, but what is your style? How do you express your love? Is it verbal? Is it touch? Is it giving a gift? Is it, you know, what is it? What do you do? Acts of service? What's your thing? A quality time? How do you show your love? Please share your comments below. I mean, this is what we've got right now to work with. We can't talk to each other, but you can leave your comments under this video, or you can go onto the website and talk there. You can join our Patreon group, which is just, for me, just the most beautiful place to be able to express some of those ways of loving each other. And just take very good care of yourself. And I look forward to reading your comments. I just hear my voice, and I hope it's an expression of my love for you guys. I love you all, and in, you know, a spectrum of love, and I'm giving it to you at no charge. This is for you to just enjoy. But take very good care. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and just know that you're loved. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.